So let's begin real quick today. We're going to check our valve clearances, which are here and here. So first, let's get all this stuff out of the way. And to do that, we'll take off this bolt and these two, and this whole tray assembly comes right up. Now also, go ahead and mark with Sharpie or something those wires so you can figure out where they go in conjunction with your two boxes here. There technically isn't a wrong way to connect them, but it better be safe than sorry. Also, this thing here just slides up and over top of that. See? And it just comes right the heck out. Not a whole lot to it. And this tray here will lift out once we get this other stuff out of the way. And of course you got to disconnect your two spark plug wires, and I might have to disconnect these, I don't recall. But these are grounded for, I forget which box, some of the boxes are grounded through here. Don't forget to connect that again. Bad things if you don't. And as you can see, I didn't actually have to unplug this main harness. I just had to move things out of the way, like the breather tube and the gas line and whatnot. And I just kind of scrunch it up. It'll compress a little bit because it is just plastic. But once you get it started, it just comes right off of there. And now you have access. Look at that, like a little bit of oil there. I need to put a washer on that. Anyway, now you have access to this, and you can very easily take it off. Now, you also need to pull your spark plugs. All of them. You need to pull all the plugs out. That's the next step. And it's an 18mm socket. Pretty easy to do. Just gotta get it done. A word of caution on these. They will snap when you go to put all this back together and you want to tighten it down. These are meant to shear if there is too much torque put on it, in which they'll bottom out as years go by. The little gasket that's here will compress, and in order to get a really tight seal, you end up having to torque it more and more. And if that bolt connects with and bottoms out with the threading in there, it just shears right off. It's meant to do that. It's designed to do that. So the solution is to get the little hose washers, the grommets that go between your hose and your nozzle and such, and just put one or two of them. They're the perfect size, and it will still get and hold really well, but it won't allow the bolt to shear. So now that the bolts are out of there, plugs are out, you need to oh so gently pry apart this. See that? Wasn't that neat? So it comes out in two pieces here on the top head. And just oh so gently slide the hell out of here. You gotta do this one as well. Look at that, right there. Boom. So both of these then, you need to finagle. Oh, look at that. And it's got a direction marker forward. And this one goes back onto that. Boom. Right there, just like that. You should probably think about replacing these, because they probably need to have it done, but I'm not doing it. The inside of the head looks like here pretty clean, except for this. Well, I've had oil up here, it looks a little burnt. Yeah. Well, I don't really even know. But otherwise looks alright. Now we're going to be playing with, there's the valves right there. There's a little nut you have to first loosen. Then you adjust it up or down with that screw there. But ultimately right now I'm hoping just to be able, now to see this the shiny here, and up underneath there is where we'd be sliding in the tool, whatever it's called, thin piece of metal, to check the actual clearance. But first, I don't know, there. Actually, here's a better view of the nut and how that screws out there. Yeah, almost, I don't know if you can see it, where you need to slide in with that, the stupid thing. But first, that needs to come off, and you see this here? There's a reason for this. We need to catch underneath here on the frame here. See that little itty bitty, I think it might be a 6mm head, might even be smaller. That is where we're going to be draining our coolant. And now the reason for that is this head right here. We need to take this off, right? And there's almost no room between these two to work. So what you do is you drain the coolant, pull this hose, and you take that off, and this just swings right on up, and it gives you a good 6 inches of clearance to work with. Very handy. You don't necessarily need to do it, but it just makes life oh so much easier. And see how this is all one piece here versus here. So next step is to take that out, and it will just drain. Kit is not for you. Now I moved the side stand here out of the way and loosen this up, and cat, you are not good. Nope, no. Come on, get. And you just, nope, damn it, cat. I want to take you in the house. And, stop that, cat. Get. Why is that not draining? Oh, yeah, it's under pressure. All right, so we've got a little bit out there, but now we just need to, boom, look at that. Well, that's handy to know. It's a vacuum system. But look at that. See, now this is, I have replaced this about a year ago now. That makes a bit of a mess. There's a dead spider. So, there you are. Coming right on out there. It is remarkably clean. I just can't let the stupid cat get a hold of this. So there you are. That's how you drain your coolant. It's really dead simple. The problem is, of course, if this rusts out, and then really bad things happen because your coolant runs through your frame. So kind of shit out of luck. Let it drain for a good long time. I'm going to take my stupid cat in the house so it doesn't die. So once we get this drained, and we can move this out of the way, we just move that up. Take those same bolts off. They're called shoulder bolts, whatever. You just put a little flathead in here, apply a little leverage, that pops right off, and then you need to take your stator cover off. That's a particularly hard to reach. Well, no, get an extension on, it's not too bad. If you can't get to it though, you just take, see these two right here? These come right off. This whole peg will come out. Easy to get to. Might actually not be a very bad idea because, I'll be aware, once you've drained this out completely, which shouldn't take too long, it's not all that much, to be honest. Once you have gotten all this out, this cover, when released, or on the center stand here, will drip a little bit of oil. Not too much, but it will come out a little bit. Put a box underneath here to catch whatever comes out. So, we need to, oh dear, tighten this up better next time because it is super loose. So all we need to do is loosen this up, slide it along there, because the goal is just to get this tube to disconnect. It's cold in here right now, so it's going to be a real right bitch to do so. Alright, that's off. Worked by, I took the little connector off of here and squeezed. Yeah. And that popped right off of there. So next, bolt on either side, take those off. This will swing out a bit, and then you can just get to those here very, very simply. And now, with this out of the way, we can get right up on in there. No problem at all. So, let's also take these off. Now, as promised, we have leaking fluid here. As also promised, it's not a whole lot. Now, we gotta get this guy up and over here. Boom. And that's it. That's all there's to it. Just a little bitty bit of oil right there. Have this cover off. All the spark plugs out. I have not removed this valve cover. Getting there. But just for the purpose of this video, I want to show you what we need to do to look at the valves underneath here. Alright, so this is T2 and 4, which are these guys, because these are 1 and 3. There's going to be a mark over here. Oh, let's just spin it. Alright, now this is the direction that this spins. And look, there's a handy arrow. It tells you what direction to spin it. And look at that, it spins. Handy dandy. Okay, here is 1 and 3. Now that applies to both of these. Now you'll have to spin it full 360, or just 270, whatever, to see which one of the cylinder it's on the compression stroke. You plug the hole here, and when you start feeling air come out of the hole, that's the one on the compression stroke. Now I hear it. That's the air going past my finger there. Well, let's see, Now, the T1, T3 is right there. Yep, there's that little blessed air, and you want it to line up with this mark. You wish it to line up with this mark right here. And that line is right there. And I missed, so back around we go. There's T1, T3, that should be that side over there. Now, it should be back over to this side. Yep, here it is. Alright, cool. That is perfectly lined up. Folks, I'm so very, very happy to have started this project because these had no clearance at all. There was no lash whatsoever. Now this is a feeler gauge that is 0.006, the correct feeler gauge for these right here. Now it is doing its thing. This one's a little too loose. But essentially you loosen this nut like I've done here, and then this post can swivel. We have to be very, very careful when you're doing that, though, that you want to hold things still as you're tightening it back up. Like right now it's too loose. I'll put a screwdriver on there, tighten that back down just a little bit, and then give it a spin. I'll give the engine a rotation or two, check it again, and I'll move on to this one right here. And then I'll move on to the other side and just keep going, and that's how you set the valves. And after that, you button everything back up. You put this, back together. You put coolant back in. Of course, the cover back on. The valve cover's back on. I would not suggest using RTV. If the valves aren't sealing, you put the little washers on the shoulder bolts that go on the top of the head, or just buy new gaskets. Don't use RTV. It will get in there. Things will happen that you don't want to happen. So that's it for the valves at this point. We'll move on to actually setting the carburetors correctly in terms of getting them bench sinks next.